Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 20 of the Posh Push, here with Peterborough in the Barclays Premier League. My word, it feels good to say that. Hopefully you guys are good. Today, I have a live con for you guys against Reading. So, you'll actually notice by the date, just first things first, it is the 29th of August. I decided not to live con the first game of the season because it was against Manchester City, and I didn't think it'd be that entertaining to watch me get spanked. So instead, we're here to play Reading, and after our first few games of the season, it's actually going to be essential that we get a win today. But anyway, first things first, obviously moving up into the Premier League, we've gone through a transitional period. I've had to reinvest money in the squad, and I'll start off by showing you guys the transfers. But before that, just a look here, that you can see our wage budget is at 525k, and we have £2.4 million left of the transfer budget. This year I decided to spend my money as wisely as possible. I really tried to seek out some bargains. Our wage budget is almost doubled, which is kind of natural with you going into the Premier League with the TV money and such. But because I had a quite small wage budget and a relatively large transfer budget, I decided to rebalance them out in this way. So we are actually spending a fair hefty amount on wages compared to the amount that we actually spent bringing in players. But anyway, let's have a look at our transfers first. So on the outs, there are a few to tell you guys about of significance. First one, Ryan Taylor, a player who I signed back when I was in League One. He has departed us on a free transfer, yet to find a club. Had a fantastic impact for us first season in the League One. He was a very good rotation option. In the Championship, did not make an appearance, just wasn't worth keeping him on. Similar story here with Nathaniel Mendes-Lane. You can see here, a fantastic first year for us, but in the Championship we had to scale up our side, and he was one of a few players who were just pretty much surplus to requirements. And so with us now going into the Premier League, they're even more surplus. So unfortunately for him, he's gone too. And then Jamal Blackman, one of a few players who I signed last year. Unfortunately, he's decided to leave after his contract came to an end. I did only sign him on a one-year deal last year on £2,000 a week as a backup goalkeeper. He's done a job for the team there, very rarely called upon, so he goes out. John Taylor, another player in a similar situation to a few others, a League One player who just doesn't cut the mustard in this league. And the last of the kind of big, kind of noteworthy transfers is actually Ngozi, or Kangossi. We still don't know this guy's name. I still don't know this guy's name. The South African guy whose name I avoid saying. He's gone out on loan to Blackpool in League One. He's 21, he's still got some potential, hoping regular first team football is going to attempt to help him improve. So that's that. On the ins, only spent 6.72 million. 6.72 million, which is a pretty low transfer amount, but I think I've got some real good bargains here. The first player we've got in is Jamal Lascelles from Notts Forest. The 21-year-old has 18 leadership. He's a long-term signing, this guy. He's a fantastic player in FM. I'm hoping that regular Premier League football this year is going to help him immensely. Last 2 years at Notts Forest, you can see he's played regularly in their first team. He's made a step up with us this year. £2.5 million for this guy, I think, is an absolute bargain. Just a fantastic centre-back for the Premier League anyway, with some real kind of long-term potential to really step it up as we kind of advance maybe into Europe in the next 5, 6, 7 years. The next player we have is Sam Byram, who we picked up from Leeds for £2.4 million. Another really good transfer, I think. I think £2.4 million for Sam Byram is a very good deal. You can see here in the last 2 years he's played pretty much every league game for Leeds. Going to be making the step up to us in the Premier League. Off the first 2 games you can see he's struggled. I will come on to those games shortly because they've not been easy. Next signing we have is Danny Ings. Picked him up from Burnley for £1.1 million. Going to be a good kind of striker option. Going up into the Premier League, goals are obviously going to be essential. Whilst we do have a Sombalonga, I needed some kind of secondary kind of goal scoring option. Danny Ings is going to provide that, I hope. You can see he's already got a goal in one of our 2 games, and at £1.1 million he's a very, very cheap transfer, and hopefully he's going to represent value for money. We did loan in a few players this year. The first one was this guy, Borniczk. I hope I said that right. Either way, Polish international, can play either fullback position, a very good coverage, on loan from Leverkusen for the year, although as I mentioned he is injured, he's only out for a few days though, so he is a good rotation option. The next player we have is Alessio Cragno, an Italian prospect. He's a good goalkeeper, going to just be a good backup option from Ajax for us. Needed a second choice keeper. with Jamal Blackman leaving, but I managed to solve our keeper problem even more so after the signing of him. And the last of the loanees was actually Atsu from Chelsea. Chelsea, of course, were one of our parent clubs. With us getting promoted this year, that link between ourselves and them has been terminated. So as a result, I do actually have to pay Atsu's wages, but on 5k a week, I think he's going to be a very good transfer for us. Then on the free transfer front, there were two that we brought in this window. The first one was Zyler, or Zieler, answers on a postcard. Which is it? Let me know. 26 years old, this guy, German international goalkeeper. I believe he plays for Hanover, indeed he does. You can see he had a very good year last year. A 6.97 average rating is pretty solid for a goalkeeper in Football Manager. And he's a very good player. He is one of our highest earners now. In fact, he may be the highest earner on 43 grand a week. But I think having this kind of quality a goalkeeper at the back is going to be invaluable to us if we want to stay up this year. The other free transfer we got was a guy who I've actually nicknamed Johnny because I gave up trying to say his full name. There's his full name if you want to have a go at it. I'm not going to have a go at it. His name is Johnny from now on. And he is a Burkina Faso, I want to say. I don't want to get this wrong now, so I'm actually going to check. He is from Burkina Faso. He's a very good winger, actually. Good pacey player. 29 years old. Can play either wing, so a good bit of versatility. And a very solid free transfer. We signed him from Al Jazeera, the United Arab Emirates team, on a free transfer. And the last signing we made was Barami from a relegated Napoli. Napoli getting relegated in the second year of this save from Serie A. Their players have kind of ended up everywhere, but Barami I decided to pick up. He's a great ball-winning midfielder. I'll just show you his stats here. But he's pretty much ideal. Perhaps his marking and tackling are a tad on the low side. I say that. They're 15 and 16. They're not bad at all. But he did get sent off on his debut for us against Manchester City, which was pretty disappointing. And I'm hoping that he's going to be able to redeem himself in the coming games because he has the potential to be a very solid player for us this year. And he is also one of our top earners. So in terms of how we actually line up this year, it's not a massive change from last year in many ways, if I'm honest. It's a very similar team. You can see we're lining up with a 4-2-3-1 or 4-5-1, however you want to look at it. The actual one I've been using is the counter tactic. Last game we were playing in the Cup, which we actually lost in, which is pretty disappointing. But I mean, looking at our team, it's not a massive shake-up. It'd be fair to say there's not been a load of changes really to our team. Very much trying to keep the core of the team fairly similar. You look at players like Baldwin and Briggs from last year. Obviously Zyler, Lascelles and Byram and you. But in the midfield area you've got the likes of Hughes, Freer, Edwards as well. We've got players like Hendrick on the bench who have still got a role to play for us. And these are players who, you know, are Premier League quality players. There's no doubt about it. And they have contributed to our promotion. So I'm pretty optimistic that this year we can stay up. So anyway, I'm just going to check my team training. I'm pretty sure it's either on tactics or team cohesion. It should be on tactics for now, because we have now finished our first month of the season. So let's talk about that first month. And yeah, it's been a pretty crap first month, I've got to be honest. 3 defeats in a row, 2 in the Premier League, 1 in the Capital One Cup. That was against Middlesbrough, which was a bit of a shock. Very, very disappointing, because I wouldn't have minded, put it this way, qualifying for Europe this year, be it for a cup competition, but the Capital One Cup was not to be. Unfortunately, we slipped at the first hurdle. In terms of league performances, as I mentioned, Manchester City was the first game of the season. We didn't actually get as spanked as I thought we might. Yaya Toure grabbed both goals, Barami got sent off. All in all, it wasn't the worst performance I've ever seen. It wasn't amazing, don't get me wrong, we didn't have a shot on target, but to only concede 2 against Man City away from home is not too bad. And then in the next game we played against a very, very strong Southampton side, only losing 2-1. And you look at the 2 Southampton goal scorers, they have Hamsik and Nasri. I don't know who is the Southampton manager. It's Solskjaer. He's gone crazy. He's managed to get Seitu Doumbia in, who is just incredible. He's managed to get Mariak Hamsik in, because of course Napoli got relegated. We've got Nasri. I mean, I don't know. You see Southampton selling all these players in real life. I'll tell you what, get Solskjaer in charge, or get your Hamsik and Nasri within 2 years. But actually, it wasn't too bad of a result in the end. We only lost 2-1, which, when you consider the quality of their team, I didn't think was too bad at all. If you look at their history as well, last 2 years, Southampton have finished top 7. They finished 6th and 7th, so it wasn't too bad at all. Anyway, we are going to get into today's game. We are going to be playing against a rather strong Reading team. Are we home or away? We're away, so I am going to stick with the counter-attacking tactic. I had started Ings in the last two. I'm actually going to give Assombalonga a chance here. Ings did score one of the goals against Southampton, but besides that, he was a little bit underwhelming in his first few games, so I'm going to call upon a few of the old guard, particularly in midfield. Of course, Reading got promoted with us this year into the Premier League, or last year into the Premier League, so this is their first year as well. So I'm hoping we can do something here. In terms of the actual kind of promotion and relegation odds, we are currently, I believe, second favourites to go down, along with Blackburn. So yeah, Blackburn actually I think did really well last year as well, so I was a little bit confused by that. My real aim this year is just to stay up. I've not had loads of money to spend. I've tried to spend it smartly, and Will Hughes gets injured within 2 minutes. Right, well, Danny Ings, come on, I guess. But no, what I was going to say was I've tried to spend the money smartly. I've not gone after a load of huge signings, rather focus on a few little ones who I'm hoping are going to make a bit of a difference for us. Seiler there with a great save, or is it Zieler? I don't know. As I said, answers on a postcard. I say that every episode there is something I don't know. I'm going to be, one day someone's actually going to send a postcard for every time I say that, and I'm going to have a lot of postcards. But anyway, we've weathered the initial storm, at least Reading with the first clear-cut chance of the game. We'll see how this game goes. We've had a really disappointing start to the season. This is a game we really do need to win. We are away from home, so perhaps Reading edge it as favourites. Getting promoted twice in a row presents a lot of kind of problems, I guess, in terms of really trying to upscale the squad. My reputation as a club isn't the biggest, so it can become difficult to attract players. That's another fantastic save there. So really, if we could stay up this year, that would be a platform to grow on. If we were to go straight back down, because of the way I've restructured the wage budget in terms of increasing it, that might prove problematic in its own right. Just because, because scaling that down for the Championship is not the easiest of tasks, but I'm hoping that, you know, with the right kind of, I guess, approach this year, that is not going to be something I have to worry about. I'm actually going to go instantly a little bit more attacking here. The reason I'm actually doing that is not just because we're chasing the game, it's because with Will Hughes getting subbed off, although Danny Ings can play the advanced playmaker role, he's very bad creativity-wise, and so playing him as a second striker might help. I say that, it's not going to help when Reading take a 2-0 lead here, and that's Pogremniak again with a goal. That is really poor play by us. There's just holes everywhere in our defence right now. It's going to be tricky. We need to make sure we don't start on a slippery slope downhill, otherwise we may well be in trouble this year. We don't want to have the wooden spoon and potentially with 10, 15 games left to be already down. I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. Will Hughes is a huge injury to get, I must say. Like, that cannot be underestimated as an injury. That is going to hurt us immensely. But you know what? We're going to try and fight back here. Assombalonga, go on. Oh, that was a chance for his first Premier League goal of the season. Unfortunately, he's missed it. A goal then and straight into the kind of second half could have been huge. Unfortunately, it's not gone our way. Right, let's up our tempo. Play a little bit more attacking and see if we can get anything here. There's 10 minutes left and there's nothing going our way right now. This is not looking good. This is not the game or the start of the season I wanted. Granted, this has been the first maybe winnable game, the kind that you put down on the calendar with a W next to it and potential a winnable match, I guess, and a chance to get some points on the board. Unfortunately, however, it looks like in our first 3 Premier League games we are not going to be adding anything to our tally, unfortunately. We have got a few easier games coming up, but that is still very bitterly disappointing to take. Opted not to make any subs in the end because I was pretty happy with our starting 11, and in that second half we actually started to get back into the game despite the fact we didn't really create too many chances. Unfortunately for us, a nightmare 5 minutes means that we did concede 2, and that's going to be tricky. Oh, that's annoying. Will Hughes is going to be out for 3 months. That is tragic. That could not have gone much worse than that. That might be the worst episode I've ever had of this series so far. We have got Newcastle Stoke Cardiff coming up, so that might be a chance to recover things. I think the next game I'm going to live comp is going to be against Manchester United away, just because of course we did miss a big game before. There's a few winnable games in the meantime that hopefully we can get something from. Ideally I'd like to see us maybe beat Newcastle at home. If we could get a win against Cardiff at home and then maybe beat Villa at home, 9 points would be a pretty decent total I think to get from the games coming up. But right now, things are looking pretty bleak for us. That is a huge defeat and one that's going to hurt hard. 3 games into the season, we are bottom of the league and struggling. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap things up there. Hopefully you enjoyed as always. Episode 20, just a quick thing before I go. I just want to say a massive thank you to you guys for your support on this series. It is really, really appreciated. You guys have no idea how much of a motivating factor you are in this series continuing. You guys are absolutely loving it. Just a reminder, if you did miss yesterday's video, it was the start of a new kind of mini-series that I've got going on my channel called One Season Challenges. Just something to break up the Posh Push a little bit so we've not got episodes after episode after episode of the Posh Push. Essentially, it's one season saves where we attempt to do goals, the first of which is with Southampton with all their updated transfers, so pretty much a lack of a first team. If you want to check that out, go check it out. It's on my channel. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching as always. If we could hit 400 likes for episode 20, that would be epic. Episode 21 will be coming your way in the coming days. And other than that, guys, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.